The waiting game continues with former MVP Lamar Jackson, who's currently on the non-exclusive franchise tag.
He's a great option. There's a really expensive option, but we're focused on more of the draft picks at this point.
Other teams have not shown interest in Lamar is the big mystery.
So we have a groundbreaking update on the Lamar Jackson situation, and it's one that couldn't wait, because otherwise I probably wouldn't be making you guys this video while I'm on a trip in New York currently for a good friend of mine's wedding. And I know what you might be thinking.
Mike, you take a lot of vacations.
This is just my way of combating the burnout, man, and it's all thanks to you guys. I wouldn't be able to do it if it wasn't for you guys. Before we get to the content, we're still running our giveaway on Twitter, where we're going to give away multiple followers $120 once the Aaron Rodgers trade finally gets finalized. I thought it would be by now, but I guess it's not. And if you guys want us to bring you an update on that situation, let me know in the comment section down below. Every Friday, we also announce a giveaway winner for $300 for a subscriber that has our notifications on this channel. And now that we get all that out of the way, work! As to how we're doing financially so far. I've made $5,407 so far, but it seems like my followers have been having significantly more success than I have. For example, my man Just2K was able to make $800 by putting up $80. My man Anthony was able to make $1,250 off of putting up $50. And we're about to ramp things up because it's March Madness, bro. So if you haven't played Prize Picks and you want to make some money with us, all you have to do is go to Prize Picks, download the app, and use my promo code Mikerophone, and they'll give you an additional $100 when you deposit $100. I post pics each and every day onto my Instagram story. I've been doing a lot of research on this recently to try to get us an edge. I've been learning a lot about this niche, by the way, and it's been a lot of fun learning about it, and I highly recommend it. It's a great way to get some action in some games that you may not have been paying attention to. So download Prize Picks and use my promo code Mikerophone to get up to a $100 deposit match, and thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mike check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? All you need to know about the Lamar Jackson situation is recently the Baltimore Ravens decided to franchise tag him. You might be wondering what type of franchise tag and what this really means. The best way I could explain this to you is he received a non-exclusive franchise tag. So what is the non-exclusive franchise tag? Well, it means Lamar Jackson will get paid $32.416 million in 2023, and they have until July 17th to reach a multi-year extension with Lamar Jackson before that number becomes permanent. Now, at the time, Eric DaCosta had this to say about the situation. Having not yet reached a long-term deal with Lamar Jackson, we'll use the franchise tag. There have been many instances across the league and in Baltimore when a player has been designated with the franchise tag and signed a long-term deal for that same year. We will continue to negotiate in good faith with Lamar, and we are hopeful that we can strike a long-term deal that is fair to both Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens. Our ultimate goal is to build a championship team with Lamar Jackson leading the way for many years to come. Now here's where it gets spicy. At the same time, Lamar Jackson does have the right to negotiate with other teams in NFL free agency. And it's kind of like the way NBA restricted free agency works. If Lamar Jackson signs an offer sheet from another organization, Baltimore has 5 days to decide to match it, or they could bow out completely. The Ravens will get 2 first-round draft picks in return for Lamar Jackson if he signs somewhere else, which I think they could have probably gotten something a little bit steeper if you look at what the Texans received for Deshaun Watson, which obviously Deshaun Watson was in a bit of a different situation. He was technically under contract with the Houston Texans when he got traded. It's not necessarily the best return for a player of Lamar Jackson's caliber. Essentially what we have here is a gigantic game of chicken where the Baltimore Ravens are coming at Lamar Jackson with a specific deal. We don't necessarily know what the deal is. We just know it's not a fully guaranteed deal, which is what Lamar Jackson wants as a result of what Deshaun Watson received after getting traded to the Cleveland Browns for 3 first-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks, and a 3rd-round pick, and then signing Deshaun Watson to a fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million contract. This one contract ruined all negotiations that the Baltimore Ravens have with Lamar, because on one hand, Lamar Jackson is looking at Deshaun Watson and thinking, wow, Deshaun Watson just got this crazy contract from the Cleveland Browns without even playing a snap for them. He's never won an MVP. He's had some fantastic seasons, but Lamar Jackson probably wants the same type of contract. The Baltimore Ravens are probably saying to Lamar Jackson that
This contract is egregiously bad. The only reason Deshaun Watson got this contract was because the Cleveland Browns gave him this contract. And the Cleveland Browns are fucking idiots.
But at the same time, if you're the Baltimore Ravens, you have to have some reservations about giving Lamar Jackson a huge contract because Lamar Jackson has only been able to win one playoff game on a rookie scale contract, which means if you extend him and give him a larger contract, chances are the team around him is going to get weaker. And if you've only won one playoff game when Lamar Jackson wasn't getting paid a max contract, do you really think you're going to win significantly more once you pay Lamar Jackson? And that's essentially the conundrum that the Ravens and Lamar Jackson are in. So now I could bring you guys this update, and the update is pretty significant because you're hearing multiple sources talk about Lamar Jackson's future, and you're even hearing a rumor that Lamar Jackson might be ready to move on. Now, Dan Orlovsky went on the Pat McAfee show and said that Lamar Jackson probably won't play underneath the franchise tag.
I don't know if he'll play under the tag. He was the good soldier and he got hurt. All right, is he going to play under the tag and risk that again? I don't know.
But even more aggressively is the fact that Lamar Jackson is reportedly ready to move on from the Baltimore Ravens, according to Mike Florio. Now, another source told him that Lamar Jackson doesn't even want a fully guaranteed contract. Here's the thing. Just because Lamar Jackson comes out and says,
I'm ready to move on from the Baltimore Ravens,
I don't necessarily think that makes it true. I think this may be some gigantic leverage game. They have 4 months to figure this out. And I don't think the Ravens are just going to let Lamar Jackson walk away and just accept the fact that they're only going to get 2 first-round picks for him. I definitely think there's something bigger at play here, and I think Lamar Jackson's side is just trying to crank up the temperature. If you're wondering how Lamar Jackson probably feels, also listen to this part from the Pat McAfee show, because Dan Orlovsky explains it perfectly.
Guy does everything right. This guy is our team. He's won the MVP. He's led us. He's caused no problems.
I sit there and I think Lamar has taken 1,000 hits for that organization. Then decide, yeah, we don't want to pay you as much as you've earned or deserve or what the market says.
So that makes a lot of sense. Lamar Jackson probably feels some type of way, putting his body on the line for the organization. But at the same time, every player should have its price. If you're certain that you're not going to be able to win Super Bowls, let alone playoff games, with Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, does it really make sense to give him a top 3, top 2 quarterback type salary? Probably not.
If you pay him the however many guaranteed dollars, one, you're now the owner that did it. Then you're going to have the Brown family calling you being like, why did you do it? Now we have no choice. Now there's no longer an individual outlier.
Now, on top of all of this, you're seeing a brand new rumor that is being posted on ESPN, by the way, which is why I'm giving this any type of thought or response at all whatsoever. Some of you guys have tagged me in this on Twitter as well, where according to Stephen Holder, which I'm sure Stephen's a great guy, first time I'm ever hearing of him, I'm sure you're a wonderful human that's going to bring us great news in the future, but this is my first time hearing of him. Have the Colts ruled out a run at Lamar Jackson? No. Do I expect them to pursue him? That's a more complicated answer. In the meantime, I've laid out the whole complex situation and why Lamar and the Colts would or would not work. That's some pretty awesome clickbait. So Stephen Holder gives us this whole argument that the Colts haven't had a deep playoff run in quite some time, and they've had a lot of years of irrelevance as a result of it. He suggests that Lamar Jackson would be a seamless fit into Shane Steichen's offense, who had a similar type of quarterback with a similar skill set in Jalen Hurts, and that Shane Steichen has a track record of adapting his scheme and play calling to his quarterbacks while with the Chargers and the Eagles, which suggests that he could develop a creative attack with Lamar Jackson as a centerpiece. Jackson has had back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons in 2019 and 2020, and is the first NFL player to produce 5,000 yards passing and 2,500 yards rushing in the first 3 seasons of a career. And the Colts have also done it before. And he draws parallels to Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck, who signed extensions during their stints with the Colts, and they were the biggest contracts in league history at the time. Both deals also contained record-breaking amounts of guaranteed money. The 2 events represent a significant precedent of Irsay going over and above the economic limitations of being in a small market. Here's the thing, man, and with all due respect to Stephen Holder, I think this has like a 0% chance of happening, and I could be wrong. I've been wrong before on this channel. I've been wrong many times on this channel. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to go to the Broncos for the past 2 years. So I am willing to admit that my take might be incorrect here. But the Colts have been having this revolving door at quarterback ever since Andrew Luck retired. I mean, you had Andrew Luck, then you had Jacoby Brissett, and then after Jacoby Brissett, you have Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers goes away. You bring in Carson Wentz. Then Carson Wentz wasn't the answer, and it kind of crippled the franchise significantly because they had a lot riding on Carson Wentz, so much so that I'm willing to make the argument that the Carson Wentz trade not working out is the reason why Frank Reich eventually lost his job, because they probably thought Carson Wentz and Frank Reich have this remarkable familiarity with one another, so it's clearly going to work. Clearly didn't work. They bring in Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan doesn't work, and then they fire Frank Reich and bring in Jeff Saturday, which was a clear attempt to tank in my opinion. Now they're in a position where they could potentially select a quarterback in this year's NFL draft, and there's some great prospects in this year's NFL draft, and based upon their recent moves like signing Gardner Minshew, which you guys know I love Gardner Minshew. I'm so big on him. I actually think this man could start at the quarterback position, but at the very minimum, he's a very good bridge quarterback. And the Gardner Minshew signing pretty much conveys to me that the Indianapolis Colts are probably going to select a quarterback in the NFL draft, probably a more developmental like quarterback. I'm assuming maybe Anthony Richardson. I'll be bringing out mock drafts very, very soon once free agency has concluded. What I'm trying to say here is I don't see the Colts pursuing Lamar Jackson. You have the opportunity to bring in a young rookie quarterback that Shane Steichen can have an opinion on who to pursue. I don't think it's going to happen, but if you disagree, you're welcome to have an opinion in the comment section down below. At the end of the day, how do I think Lamar Jackson's situation is going to shake out entirely? Well, I am a firm believer that, and I don't think this is that complicated, guys. I'm going to be honest. If I was the Ravens general manager, I would try to trade Lamar Jackson and get like 3 first-round picks for him. I think it's possible, and that's what I would try to do. But I don't think that's what the Baltimore Ravens are going to do. And the reason that I would do it is because, again, if the Ravens were only able to win one playoff game with Lamar Jackson at quarterback, I don't see them winning significantly more when Lamar Jackson's getting paid more. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson doesn't deserve to be paid more. It's just I don't necessarily see it happening. And I could be wrong, but what I would do is I would try to trade Lamar Jackson for multiple first-round picks. I'd sign him for a couple of years and then try to trade him like as soon as I could. But what I think is going to happen is Lamar Jackson is going to flirt with one team in particular. He's going to agree to a crazy contract with that team. And no matter how crazy that contract is with that team, the Baltimore Ravens are more than likely going to match it. I think the whole reason why the tag was placed on Lamar Jackson to begin with was because the Baltimore Ravens are probably looking at Lamar Jackson and thinking, hey, you and I can't agree on what your value is, so we're going to let you go ahead and you can figure out what the market for you is with all of these other NFL teams, and we'll just match whatever contract you get. And I think that's a brilliant idea. That's the best way to resolve this, because at the end of the day, at the very, very core of this disagreement is a misunderstanding over what Lamar Jackson's true value is. So let me know what you think Lamar Jackson's future is going to be. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike. I'm dropping her mic until our next upload.